Introducing our speaker to us for us today.
This is my pleasure because I started with Tammy as my business coach about 2 months ago, and the way I was impressed with her is that she says, I'm going to work you, I'm going to push you, I'm going to kick butt, and if you don't do your homework, we're going to have consequences. So that's the emergency nursing back in me, and so we go along real good. Okay, so Tammy was an exchange student in 1976 in Echuca, Victoria, Australia. Her dad, Butch Ferris, was a longtime Rotarian and two-time president. Tammy's first business, Clowning Around, was to support Rotary fundraising and muscular dystrophy fundraising. She has been married for 25 years to Gino Gentry. They have 4 kids, 3 boys, a girl, 6+ grandkids, 5 boys, 1 girl, and 1 on the way. How'd you get a girl dog to try to even it out? She owns Action Coach business coaching franchise, the only action coach firm in San Antonio and Austin. Opened in September 2008, she's owned 4 small businesses. She's been partners in 3 businesses. She's worked in corporate America and many industries in the technology side of the business. She spent her coaching and mentoring groups, individuals, business owners, management teams for over 26 years. Tammy attributes her success to a strong, loving family, both as a child and as an adult. Her husband is her encouragement, foundation, and stability through all the tough times. He took her and her 2 boys and has stood by her side through all her endeavors. Together they work to help business owners transform their business into the dream they had when they started. Her parents and grandparents were particularly supportive in everything she did throughout her life. The entrepreneurial spirit in her home was her life. Both parents owned businesses and both brothers owned businesses. Her dad was the real driving force and made her step out of her comfort zone regularly. And I know from experience she's passing it on. When he asked her if she wanted to be an exchange student, there was no doubt that she could do it. Tammy's going to talk to us about her experience in Australia and how being a Rotary exchange student has made her the person she is today. Please welcome Tammy Gentry.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to work with you each week, and I have to tell you that she's very modest, but she's come into a very special place in her business and is qualified for a particular level. And so I'd like for you all to join me in congratulating her on achieving that level of success. All right. So I am Tammy Gentry. I'm the owner of a business coaching firm that services both San Antonio and Austin. And I have to tell you, Poppy, is that right?
Yes.
You did what we call setting your RAS this morning by saying that you've never won anything and then you won 2 things. So when you set your RAS, that's your reticular activating system. You kind of put out there what you want to achieve, and it comes back to you. So congratulations on doing that. So I want to chat with you today just a little bit about my experience as a Rotary exchange student, because that was the absolute foundation for me as an adult. And as a business coach, I come across a lot of different people, mentality, attitude, experiences, and all of that really played a part in preparing me for becoming a great business coach. When I was 15 years old, my dad was president of Rotary Club in Oklahoma, Lawton, Oklahoma. At the time, there were 2 Rotary clubs. Today, we joined forces, and there's only 1. But he was the sitting president at the time. We had an exchange student come to our house from South Africa. And being the oldest of 3 children and 2 younger brothers, I thought it would be the coolest thing to have a sister. So she actually moved into my room, and it took about all of, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe, and we were fighting just like sisters. So she stayed with us for 4 months. I never thought that, you know that old saying people talk about when boat owners, the 2 best days of being a boat owner? The day you buy it and the day you sell it. So it's kind of the way I felt about Rita. The day she came, I was so excited, and the day she left, I was so excited. So, but you know, I was 15. So, and she was vying for my dad's attention. I was daddy's girl. I did not like that one bit. So, but later on in life, about a year later, I had the opportunity. My dad came to me. We were sitting out on our patio, and he said, "Tammy G," he goes, "I've got a question for you." All right, and I can remember it just so vividly. He goes, "We've got an opportunity to send a student over to become a Rotary Exchange student. We want to be that hosting, no, the sponsor. Thank you. Yeah, club, and I want to know if you'd like to do it." I was like, "Yeah, great. So where do I get to go?" "I don't want to go to South Africa." And he said, "No, you can pick." So we started going through the process, and I chose Australia. And the reason why I chose Australia was because I was going to be going in the second semester of my junior year and the first semester of my senior year. I didn't want to lose any credits, didn't want to have to learn a foreign language because I knew that would impact me coming back. And I wanted to graduate with my friends, so we picked Australia. So before I knew it, I was 16 years old on a trip going halfway around the world all by myself. Now, I was used to being away from home. I'd been to camp, went to Muscular Dystrophy camp several years and was a sponsor there every year. I mean, a counselor there every year. And so I was used to being away from home quite a bit during the summer, but not halfway around the world, and not for a year. So many firsts happened to me, and I have to tell you, I'm going to cheat and use my notes here just because I want to make sure I include them all. My first airplane ride, first time to be out of the country, first time to be away from home longer than a week at a time. First night I was there, I lost my contact. And back in 1976, you couldn't just go grab contacts anywhere. I mean, it was quite an ordeal. And so when I called my parents and said, "Hey, I've made it. Oh, by the way, send me a contact," they weren't too happy about that because it took about a week to get my contact delivered to me. It was my very first day. I met with my Rotary Club on the very first week. It was for a little town of 8,000 people. Echuca, Victoria was where I stayed. They had an incredible Rotary Club. So the first day I was there, I actually went to a Rotary meeting. And the first time that I lived out of a suitcase. So those were some big firsts for me. You know, one of the things that happened to me, and Barbara mentioned this in my intro, that my dad constantly made me step out of my comfort zone. Being an entrepreneur himself, and my mom being an entrepreneur, they both own businesses. And like I said, my very first business was really on behalf of the Rotary Club. I was 11 years old. I created a business called Clowning Around, and we had a clown troupe. And we started raising money, selling balloons, and doing different things like that for the different Rotary fundraising events. They held a track meet, was their big fundraiser. My parents were real involved with muscular dystrophy, so we did clown stuff for them. Participated a lot with the muscular dystrophy telethon. I know you guys are all familiar with that. And so that was my first endeavor. I actually raised $5,000, which was pretty good in 1976. It took about 9 months. A lot of it was donations, a lot of it was fee-based, got into birthday parties, but everything went back into the business. I had the Shriners come and tell us how to put on makeup, which was really cool. Got to ride in the little Volkswagen. That was very cool. I'm not going to tell you the secrets there on how they keep getting clowns to come out of that silly little car. But you know, we got a lot of great encouragement, and again, stepping out of my comfort zone. As the owner of that business, I was constantly having to be the one to go talk to people, grown-ups. I was 11, you know, so, and these were, most of the time, were very professional. Now, in 1976, Rotary looked a little different. It was men only, and you had to own your own business. Very exclusive, exclusive club to belong to, and so these were very likely very prominent men of our community. So very quickly I had to learn how to interact with people like this. It was kind of interesting because my dad always told me that I was old beyond my years because it didn't take me much to be able to communicate. And one thing I realized, even at that young age, is that people that are in Rotary, city councilmen, the mayor, CEOs of businesses, you know what? They're just like me. They still put their shoes on, pants on, exactly like I do. They do everything. They have family. They have struggles. They are just like me. So I learned to be very comfortable. So when it came time for me to be an exchange student, all I had to do was transfer that over. And when I went to speak to different Rotary clubs, I spoke to a Rotary club every other week. So that was 30-something Rotary clubs. Did a lot of traveling. You'll see on these pictures, I just kind of put random pictures up here to show you some of the things that we went through. But you know, it was interesting because one of the things that I could do, and really the only thing as a teenager that you could do in Echuca, Victoria, was go to the drive-in movie. And at 16, I was not allowed to go to the drive-in. So I wrote home to ask permission to go to the drive-in, and I had to explain to them this was really the only thing to do. They changed the movie every Friday and Saturday, so you could go both Friday and Saturdays and see different movies. And then, I don't know, at some point they kind of rotated them again, but it was several months later, so you felt like you hadn't seen the movie anyway. And we didn't really pay much attention to it, so it always seemed like a new movie. But I was still very tied to my parents. When I was there about 2 months, I had someone from the drama club contact me and said, hey, we are going to put on the play Oklahoma. Well, that's where I'm from. Oklahoma, this is great. So they said, would you come and give us speech lessons? Okay. So I show up to the first practice, and they're reading their script, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys do not sound like Okies. We spent 3 weeks on y'all lessons. Aussies have a hard time saying y'all. It's 2 syllables to them. That little apostrophe there, I guess, means take a pause or something. So we spent 3 weeks doing it. Well, opening night was on August 6th, which happens to be my birthday. And the town that I'm from, Lawton, Oklahoma, it's also Lawton's birthday. So we actually set up an arrangement with Echuca and Lawton. They exchanged some information, big write-ups in both papers, you know, with me being in Echuca, being Lawton's birthday. It was really quite a big deal. And again, with in a town of 8,000 people, by August, I got there in January, I knew everybody. Right? So opening night comes. Oh, let me back up a little bit. They asked me to join the cast as part of the singers, you know, just support staff.